Lesson 1.5 is translating verbal phrases into algebraic expressions and equations, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to take a sentence. For instance, something like 2 times the quantity of 3 plus another number is 25, okay? We would take that and we would learn how to write it as an algebraic expression or a math problem, okay? We've got a couple goals. Obviously, to translate verbal phrases into algebraic expressions. Now, an expression is a math problem without an equal sign. So that would be like 3 plus x. That's an expression. There's no equal sign. There's no end to the problem. It's just 3 plus x, okay? Our second goal is to use a verbal model or a sentence to translate an algebraic equation or inequality. Basically, that means a problem with an equal sign or an inequality sign, like 3 plus x equals 75. That is an equation. Or 3 plus x is greater than 75. That's an inequality. It gives us an entire problem, and I can say, oh, x is 72, okay? I'm going to hand this sheet out to you. Words in math. These are specific words that you know mean certain math problems. Like, for instance, product. We know that's multiplication. Is means equals. Add means addition, okay? I'm going to pass this sheet out to you so you have a copy of this. As you see on this paper, it gives us all the different words that mean the different math problems or operations. 4 main operations: addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication. Now, equals, whenever we're doing equations, we'll use this. Here is what I really want you to get, because every year when I teach this section, I've got people who do not get it. And they don't do well because they can't understand this. This is the main thing. These words right here are called turnaround words. What that means, okay, is if I have a problem like 7 less than 10, then is a turnaround word. So 7 less than 10 means I'm going to do 10 minus 7. I flip it around anytime I see that word than, okay? The same thing is the word from, like 10 from 20. That means 20 minus 10. But from is not used as much as than, and more specifically, less than. Now, sometimes you'll see more than. 3 more than a number would mean x plus 3. We flip it around, okay? So a turnaround word. That's one I really want you to make sure you understand. There's 2 other things I want you to add to this paper, and that is the less than sign and the greater than sign. These are not included in the worksheet, okay? The less than sign. We have a phrase that is less than. That means I use the less than sign. Is less than or equal to means I use the less than or equal to sign. So we have less than or equal to. Or is greater than or equal to. I use the greater than signs. Now, I had someone in one of my last classes ask me, is it important that we include the word is? Can I just put less than or equal to? No, you cannot just forget about it. It is so important. The whole reason I know the difference between subtraction and a less than sign is that word is. That's why I have it written in red in all 4 of these. Is less than tells me it's a less than sign. But when I see 7 less than, I know it's a turnaround word, which means subtraction, okay? But if I said 7 is less than 7, then the less than sign, okay? The word is always signifies some sort of equals or something that's going to tell us that my equation or inequality is about to end, okay? So if I said 25 is equal to x plus 3 or something like that, is signifies, hey, there's my answer. It's very close. Is less than, is greater than tells me it's an inequality sign. okay? So let's put this into practice. These are a review of our less than and greater than signs. We've already done that this year, so you don't need to write it down. Less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. Okay, here we go. This is where we are going to put it into practice. I'm going to give you a minute to write all of these sentences down. Then we're going to go back together and write them as an algebraic expression. All right, the first sentence that we have here says 6 less than 4 times a number. Now, I want you to keep that words into math paper handy so you can look back at it and figure out what we're going to need. But as we read this sentence, okay, let's look for, before I do anything, any sort of turnaround words. Turnaround words are than, or more specifically, less than, okay, and from. Read this sentence. Do I have a turnaround word? Yes. 6 less than. Oops. Less than. So that means 6 is going to the back and 4 times the number comes to the front. Now, when it says less than, is it addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division? Subtraction. Very good, because less means subtraction. Okay? So we know we have a subtraction problem. And I know that 6 is going to go to the back, so I write my 6 behind the subtraction problem. 6 less than, so that means minus 6. Now, the other thing that I've got in this problem is what type of operation. I've got subtraction and one other operation. Josh?
Multiply.
Multiply. 4 times a number. Now, I know that I have 4 times a number. Does it tell me what the number is? No. That's when you use a variable. Now, if they were specific and said a number x, you would use the variable x. But they didn't tell you what variable to use. So you can use any variable you'd like. If you want to use A, C, D, G, X, Y, I really don't care as long as there's a variable. So I'm just going to use X because that's well known. 6 less than 4 times the number. So this is exactly how you would write this. It's an expression, so there's no equation, there's no equal sign, there's no greater than or less than sign. It's just simply this. You're not trying to solve for X. There's no way you can because there's no equals, okay? You're just simply writing the statement. That's it. So let's look at the second one. The sum of 8 and a number. Are there any turnaround words in this problem? Nope. There's no than, there's no from. So I can write it exactly like it reads. What does the word sum mean? Addition. So I have 8 plus a number. Do I know what that number is? So we use a variable. So I'm just going to say 8 plus D. Okay. Let's look at the third one. The third one gets a little more in depth. 3 more than the difference of 5 and a number. So let's read it. Do I have any turnaround words in this problem? Yes, I do. Than. This time it's more than. So what's that going to be?
Flip around.
Well, we flip it around, but what type of, I still have to know what type of operation. Addition, okay? So we put our plus sign here, and I know that 3 is going at the back because it's 3 more than, so I flip it around. Then I have the difference of 5 and a number x. What does the word difference mean?
Division.
Subtraction. Look at your paper. Subtraction. So 5 and a number x. So I know I can do 5 minus x. And this is how you would write this problem right here. 5 minus x plus 3. And then the fourth part of this says a number x decreased by the quotient of 5 and y. Look for any turnaround words. Do you see any turnaround words? No? So I can write it exactly how it reads. A number x. Well, they told me what variable to use, so I'm going to use x. Decreased by. What does decreased by mean? Subtraction. The quotient. What does quotient mean? Division. So I'm going to divide 5 and y. Or you could write it like this. X minus 5 divided by y. Either way is correct, okay? Now let's move on and let's write actual equations and inequalities. So it's going to be a full-length problem. So it's going to be like 3 plus x equals 10, all right? So let's look at this first one. Go ahead and write it down. It says a number increased by 15 is 50. Tori, do you see any turnaround words in this first problem? No turnaround words. So I can write it exactly how it reads. A number. Do I know what that number is? X, okay? We know it's a variable. We know it's not an actual number. Increased by. What is increased by? Andrew? Addition. Increased by what? 15. Is. What does the word is mean?
Equals.
Equals 50. I do not want you to solve for x, okay? You are not going to say x is equal to 35. That's not the point of these. The point of these is so you know how to translate it into an actual math problem. So your homework tonight is going to look like you've rewritten a bunch of math problems, but you're not solving for, okay? And last but not least, let's scan this one for any turnaround words. What do you think? This can be a little bit tricky. Do you see a turnaround word? You see than and less than, but read it all the way. Is less than or equal to. So what does that mean? The less than or equal to sign, okay? Anytime you see than or less than, and is before it, it cancels out the turnaround word because it's not a turnaround. It's the actual sign, is less than or equal to, okay? So it's nothing to be turned around here, so I just plug in my numbers. 40 divided by a number. Do I know what 40 or the number is? No, so I just write 40 divided by a number. Is less than or equal to, so I have my sign, is less than or equal to 5. All you got to do is write it exactly how you read it in the problem. Okay? The key is to memorize those math words. If you get to the test and you think, oh, product means addition, you're going to get it wrong. You've got to have those words memorized. Okay? This is your homework for tonight. I want you to go ahead and get started on it. It's homework 1.5, not 0.15. And you guys are the standard class.